GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
I am the greatest. The greatest.
JC Money.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the JC Money Show here on the Gear Radio Network. The JC Money Show returns yet again. How's it going, everybody? My name is John Cimino, a.k.a. JC Money. I am here with you, and this episode is brought to you, as always, commercial-free, thanks to shopgear.com. That's right. It's a new link, but it's the same kind of Amazon, baby. Shopgear.com. If you go there, it's just a link. Click shopgear.com. Takes you right to Amazon, and it takes you right to your account. You can do all the shopping that you want to do, that you normally would do. And the difference is, as always, Amazon kicks us a little something to help with production cost, to help pump out these impromptu podcasts coming to you whenever I get them out there. So, yeah. How's it going, everybody? Beautiful day outside. Currently, as I am recording this right now, I am traveling the roads here, not doing any wrestling shows, but you know, the shoot life. You do the travels, whether or not you are the wrestler, I guess. I don't know. I've done it both, as a wrestler and as a person. But you know, in the travels and in the ventures that you go on and whatnot, you know, you stop, you're at the traffic light, you're at a throughway, whatever. You look online, you see what's going on here, and of course, Western New York wrestling never lets us down. Well, I mean, it always lets us down, but it never lets us down when it comes to different things. Now, recently, there was a Ring of Honor show. It was, I think it was out in Lockport. I'm not 100% sure, but it was local. And as such, there were some locals that were used there. Mark House was used. Sean Carr was used. Punisher Van Slyke, or Brute Van Slyke, I think he's going by now. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know him personally, but he was used. Gavin Glass was used. Jordan Falco was used. Brian Plunkett was used. And there was a few others, I think, that were local I've never met. But, you know, it's great when things like that happen. Bigger places come around and use local guys in whatever capacity. It goes to show that, you know, this area has something there. They obviously don't use everybody. You know, they're not going to use a Shotgun Jackson or whoever, but when they come here and they use some talent, especially some of the young ones in this generation that are being used, I mean, it's great. It's great to see, and you know, these are opportunities that are available now that may not have been available, you know, 15 years ago when I was there. So, when I was their age in this business. But recently, I have noticed a lot, just a trend of just hate on someone's success. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this by saying, yes, I am one of the people that will openly go out and trash something that I do not like. Most of the things that I trash, however, are not very successful. I mean, look at UW. Look at what they mean. Look at Terry Cadillac. Look at what he is in this wrestling business. He's a piece of shit as a person, but that's a different story for a different podcast. But those type of things that already have a negative stigma to it, I have no problem calling those out. But it started, I really noticed it a few weeks back when it started with the PWI Top 500 that came out. and people that were, not on the list, some were trying to sell it as, oh, well, this list doesn't mean anything, and others were mad about it, saying that they didn't do a certain oral, or that special favor to somebody, if you will, in order to get included in the magazine and on that list, and just different things like that. Well, why is this person rated number 4, blah, 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 or 3, blah, blah, blah? I've done this, and I've done this, and, I've worked hard, and I've done this, and what it boils down to, guys, flat out, is at this point it's jealousy. Just openly say it. I am jealous of so-and-so because they got this. Don't try, doing the subtle messages about how hard you've worked and how you're overlooked, and then make insinuations that people are doing special favors or other different types of things in order to get where you want to be. That doesn't really do you any favors. It never does. It never did. So, I'm going to say this by saying, if the shoe fits, if the words that I am saying, and I am not naming any 1, 2, 3, or 5 individuals that I saw complaining about the same goddamn thing, I'm not naming anybody, but I will tell you this: if you hear it and the shoe fits, and you think I'm talking about you, then I'm talking about you. If it doesn't fit, then I'm not talking about you. And I'm not doing this to be malicious. I'm doing this to basically tell you how fucking dumb you look. And seriously, how dumb do you look? Do you honestly think that by whining online, literally whining online about your placement on a list, or the fact that you weren't invited or included at a bigger show, as an extra at a bigger show in the area, do you think that whining on the internet about it and putting down the others who were in those spots, putting them down, trying to shame them for their success, trying to shame them for the way they went about it, whether you agree with it or not, they're still doing that. Now, again, I'm guilty of doing that to a degree. Curtis Lee Walker and Frankie Villa were used as extras at WWE once or twice. I don't know. I don't know. I shit all over that because they were backstage taking selfies and acting like God's gift because they were backstage as an extra at Raw or SmackDown or whatever, and they weren't even used. But, thanks be to God for allowing me to be back here to take my selfies and all that shit. Yeah, I'm guilty of saying that. Having said that, guys like Mark House and Sean Carr and Jordan Falco and Gavin Glass habitually do not do shit like that. They don't. I'm just learning a little bit more about Gavin Glass, and I've always thought that kid had potential. Going back, you can go back 2 years ago when I first met him, and it was one of the Talking Wrestling Pier 6 episodes that I was there, and I said that I thought that Gavin Glass kid had some potential. I said it 2 years ago. I stand by it. I may bust his balls, and he may not understand my humor, but he's young, and I'll give him a pass on that. But I have said that he has potential. So you may not agree with him throwing himself out there like he did to start. Him having, more gimmick designs than matches at the time. But you know what? The kid realistically has gone about it the right way. From everything that I've been hearing, and in my interactions with this kid he's been nothing but respectful. He hasn't big timed me, and I'm nobody. He hasn't big timed me. He hasn't, done or said anything. He's messaged me, personal message on Facebook, hey, can you watch my match and let me know what you think? And I've done that. I've done that for him at least 2 or 3 times. Nope, everybody that's hating on him never has done that. They've never done that. I've never had any one of their matches, Mark House, who's been on and off retraining me in wrestling. still asks me for my opinion. Hey, can you take a look at this promo? What do you think? I know you're a good speaker. What do you think? They ask questions. They go out and they do the work. And my understanding was that Jordan and Gavin assisted with ring crew at Ring of Honor. That was my understanding. That was the story I heard. I don't know. I can't really speak to that. But these two kids went there. They did ring crew. They helped out. They got a small spot on the show. They were Dalton Castle's boys. You're going to be mad at that? You don't even want to... You know, a lot of those haters don't even want to do ring crew locally. But they're mad because a couple of local guys went to Ring of Honor and did ring crew for them. On top of the fact that they do ring crew for their home fed. And they were used as extras. I don't understand that. So here's my thought process with this. Don't call them bro. You know, if you don't like them and you don't support them, be true to yourself about it. You don't support them, you're not their friend. Don't be friends with them on Facebook. Don't call them bro. Don't act like you're cool with them. Don't act. It's the one thing, and I made a comment about this too. You know, it's just like when Luke Harper was signed. When Luke Harper was signed, there were the haters that were like, oh, well, he got signed because he's big, or he got signed because of this, or whatever. You know, I bet he's not going to be used properly. He'll be released in 8 months. But then as soon as he made his Raw debut with the Wyatt family, they were like, oh, he's my bro, he's my buddy, look at this picture of me and him from back in 2006. Or that one time we wrestled at this one crowd, and then they changed his name from Brody Lee to Luke Harper on the YouTube page. And it just, you know, it's like that type of shit that's really annoying. You know, you hate on others' success until they are successful, and then you think you can try and get your 15 minutes of fame off of there just because of the plain and simple fact that you may or may not have crossed paths once. I don't get that. I never understood that. I saw it a lot when Harper was signed and Harper made his Monday Night Raw debut. All of a sudden he had a whole bunch of best friends that wouldn't have pissed on him if he were on fire a year or two ago before that. And now I'm seeing it again with this PWI 500 list, and now the Ring of Honor thing. And it's a black eye. It really is a black eye to an area that's already filled with enough shit. Let something good come out of this area for once. If Mark House, Gavin Glass, and Jordan Falco are our representation, I got news for you. That is damn good representation of this area and the potential that it has. You look at, you know, for all the UWs, for all the Shotgun Jacksons and Celso Santiagos and all those other fucking idiots that pass through either UW or OSPW. Do you really want things like that to represent this area? Or do you want people that actually go out and get it? And go out and do it? Representing this area at those places. I got news for you. If people like that set the impression that Western New York is really not a bad place, or really not a bad breeding ground for wrestlers, that potentially opens the door for everybody else. For anyone else that wants that shot. Big picture here, folks. I don't know what's so hard to comprehend about that. Shitting on somebody in the same area with the same dream and the same goals as you, who puts in maybe just that extra little bit of work to get their goals, to reach their goals, they are not only representing themselves, but what's wrong with them representing this area? What's wrong with that? If they get in and they say, hey, you know, we have a spot for a real small guy. Do you know of any small guys that would be cool? Oh, hey, yeah, I know a few people. Let me call Eric. Let me call JC. Let me call this person. Let me call that person. Let's see what they're doing. Big picture, guys. Get your cranks out of your mouth. Get to work and change the way that this area is viewed. That's really all I got as far as this goes, as far as this podcast goes, and keeping to the 15-minute thing because it seems to be working out pretty well. But please just take what I'm saying as the appropriate constructive criticism to get better. And if you got a problem with what I'm saying, again, if the shoe fits, fuck you, wear it. I don't care. But this has been the JC Money Show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. The numbers are always great, and I appreciate it if you would just go ahead and support the show by clicking on shopgear.com. Do your Amazon shopping through there. Help us out. Keep these podcasts coming, and make yourselves better. Until next time, this is John Cimino, a.k.a. JC Money, saying so long, everybody. Go to IWF this Friday. Good night now.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.